Push this closer. Oh, I got a break. I don't have to interview people today. I could just relax.
Yeah, it's fun though. Don't you feel like a rush after you get done with it?
Oh my God, I feel the rush the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm done with it. Yeah, when I'm done with it, I'm like, phew, thank God that's over with. Every time.
Yeah, it's like a workout. You get that adrenaline pump afterwards.
Right. And it's like, oh man, the adrenaline rush beforehand, man. I was so nervous. Like you just can see my progression of getting comfortable.
Okay.
You know, you have like a deer in headlights the first episode, and then audio issues, all that stuff. But then, you know, you live and you learn, and everyone has to start somewhere. I mean, how long have you been doing the show for?
About 6 months. I took about 2 months off during the World Series because I was just playing every day. Although it would have been a more opportune time, just based upon all the pros that are in town. But I was just too focused on tournaments to really set all this up because there's a lot of work to coordinate it all, and I've had plenty of audio issues too. Believe me.
Let me ask you a question. How often is your show?
About once a week. I usually put out 4 a month, depending on who I get a hold of. I have almost a weekly podcast with Michael Haig, who's another Las Vegas pro.
Sweet.
But just depending on, you know, what we have to talk about, stuff like that, and what you know, poker pros / celebrities I can get on. So it's tough recruiting people. I'm glad you responded to my tweet.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you know, like I said, everyone starts somewhere, and I've had people that trusted me and went on, and I'm a big proponent of do good unto others and then have that keep going, you know? So when someone asks me for something, I try to do it. And it's like letting people through traffic. You know, you let one guy go, hopefully he lets the next guy go and the next guy go. And then you can bring love and niceness, I don't know, or kindness, I should say, into life. Kindness is contagious. So,
the golden rule.
The golden rule: do unto others. Absolutely. Join the PokerTube. Okay, so let me say, going live on Jeff's show right now to talk about poker, Trump, poker, animals. I should say poker, animals, and Trump. LOL.
Yeah. Sometimes it's better to do like the clickbait, like Red Cross scam ?
Thank you. See, this is what I'm bad at. Going live on Jeff's show right now to talk about poker.
Yeah.
Red Cross scam.
Animal rights.
Animal rights. People are probably not going to turn to that. Let me see. Poker, Red Cross scam, and what? And Trump, LOL, right?
Yeah, that's fine. People love taking one side or the other.
Red Cross scam. I'm going to say the Red Cross scam and Trump, LOL. Should I say get in the chat box?
Yeah, that's fine. Usually don't. Yeah, the link's right there for the YouTube chat. I got the link open right now.
Awesome. Get in the chat box with us.
This will be on the PokerTube channel on YouTube. So.
Sweet. Go live on Jeff Short. Yep. Cool. I'm sending it out right now.
All right.
Sweet.
Let us begin.
Let us begin.
Welcome to the PokerTube YouTube podcast. Today we have a very special guest. Hailing from Russia, now living in Brooklyn, New York. She was a pro handball player. She was on CBS Survivor number 32. She has her own YouTube show podcast. Let's welcome to the PokerTube podcast, Anna Khait.
Hello. What's going on, Jeff?
Thanks for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you for having me on. I mean, I'm sure you know I used to work with PokerTube back in the day when it just started. With Natasha came first, and then myself, and so I'm quite familiar with PokerTube. PokerTube's the best, and a big shout out to you guys. And thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you, Anna. Love PokerTube. If you want all the daily drama, videos, news articles, check out PokerTube.com. It's your one-stop shop for all things poker related.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's quite an honor to have a former PokerTube pro on the podcast. I've reached out to Natasha Sandu in the past. Haven't been successful, but she's a busy girl. She's got a lot going on.
Yeah, she's a busy girl.
Absolutely. I know you've been busy going to Houston recently. What was going on there?
So obviously Hurricane Harvey has done quite a bit of damage in Texas. So my friends and I, we got a GoFund page together, #HandsOnHouston. We raised over $7,000. So we went out there to give a helping hand to meet connections out there because we're planning to go back and to use money down there on supplies that people really need at the moment. So at the moment, while we were there, the most important supplies were obviously food and water. Food you can go without for a good amount of time. You cannot go without water for too long. So I have to say, we fed thousands of people over a few days, and it was quite eye-opening, very, very eye-opening. And it's something I really recommend for people to do. I mean, God forbid there's another disaster. I mean, it's inevitable, but there will be something that happens, hopefully not too crazy, but if a natural disaster, besides going to volunteer, I really suggest people go out there and check out what happens after disaster, because let me tell you, it is really eye-opening. So.
Yeah, that's probably not a pretty scene. What'd you do to procure all the water? Did you get funding for that? How'd you deliver it to those in need?
Yeah, so like I said, we raised money on GoFund page, on our GoFund page. I mean, there are obvious scams out there, so you have to be careful with who you donate to. You want to make sure it's trusted or from word of mouth. Also, the other good thing is on Facebook, we found an organization on Facebook. So we raised the money. We went down there, but we needed some kind of organization to meet up with and help them out and buy supplies that they need, in a volunteer location. And we found a good group on Facebook that had over 1,000 subscribers. They're posting pictures of all, the supplies they're buying, and they were based in Cleveland, Texas, and they were at a volunteer fire department. And so, so I would say check out GoFund pages, make sure you trust them and know them, I should say. And then if you ever do want to donate, and if you don't want to go on GoFund, go on Facebook, find groups that are in the local state and that local community that you'd like to help out, because there are groups like that on Facebook. That's a good thing about Facebook, is that you can find groups that are really helping. They'll post pictures, they'll post videos. Like on our GoFund page, we were posting pictures of the supplies that we're buying. People get to see where the money is going. And we were volunteering at the fire department. So at that time they needed essentials such as food, water. We ran out of propane gas. We were cooking hot meals for people. Also, people needed medical supplies. A lot of things were lost in the flood and people needed certain things. This is Brooklyn, so you can hear a lot of noises behind me. A lot of sound effects. But people need different stuff. So like I said, food and water is crucial. And another reason I would say that people definitely should donate to communities and citizens, I should say, and citizen groups on Facebook is because I've heard this for a long time, that there are charity scams, nonprofit charity scams, the big ones, the big kahunas, like the Red Cross, the freaking FEMA, and like these huge organizations that get all this money. And let me tell you, we did not see them out there. There was one time we saw two people in a truck. By the way, no one went to that truck. We had hundreds of cars lined up for hours. We were feeding them all day long. No one went to the Red Cross. No one went over to that truck. They were only coming to us. We have food. We're at the fire department. We had just have a line of people. No one walked over to the Red Cross. And actually, the fire department guy didn't even want the Red Cross on our block, because that is how much local cops and local, and I should say Army and state troopers cannot stand Red Cross. They know what they're about. Clearly, I saw with my own eyes. I always thought it was a conspiracy theory. I thought it was like bullshit. I thought, I don't know, I'm not allowed to cross my channel, sorry. I thought it was bull, right? And I saw with my own eyes. They realized they weren't giving anything out. We told them, listen, no one's coming to you. Just drop off the food for us. We're giving away hot food. We're running out of food, and they were actually making fun of us because we were giving out hot dogs. They were like, oh, you guys are cooking hot dogs? Ha ha ha. And we're like, yeah, we're trying to feed everyone and we can't afford steak for everyone. And they were making fun of us. They ended up leaving the food with us and they ended up leaving. They never came back. They were going to bring more supplies. Never happened. Like I said, we saw 2 people, thank God. I mean, but we didn't see them for days. My friend who was on the other side of Texas did not see not one Red Cross out there. So let me tell you, these charities that have these CEOs and COOs and all the other guys that get paid hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, take a look on YouTube. Google it. See how much they're making. Because let me tell you, we did not see them out there. We constantly see them on TV, all the wonderful things that you do. I mean, I was helping after Sandy in Staten Island. Guess what? We got there the next day and we were talking to, local people and they were in tears. They were crying because apparently they were saying that people were just coming by and taking pictures. My group of guy friends that I came with, we brought our muscles. We're like, all right, what do you guys need help with? And they were crying saying, everyone's taking pictures. You're the first one to ask if we need help. And I said, well, where's Red Cross? Where's FEMA? Wasn't there either. Took days to get there. So, but they eventually did. But again, in Texas, nowhere to be found. And it was a disaster and a lot of miscommunication. Anyway, Red Cross is a scam. Confirmed with my own 2 eyes, a big scam. Again, you know who was filled with supplies? Churches were filled with supplies. Police departments were full of supplies. Citizens that traveled across the country. I have friends that are leaving Texas in 3 big trucks full of supplies. This guy is a barbershop guy. Doesn't even make a lot of money. He put out there, he went viral all over Ohio. Has so much stuff donated. He has 3 trucks full of supplies, clothes, water, food, canned food, which is really important. They really need out there because, hot meals, they go quick. You need canned food out there too. And, citizens are traveling and bringing their food and the supplies and manpower. You won't see Red Cross. Like, for example, we were giving out cold water to people waiting in line for hours. Like my friend and I, we kept switching. We kept going down the line. I mean, there was pregnant women with their windows down, dying and hot and need water. And we were giving them water. And actually, it's Texas. A lot of them are illegal immigrants. I mean, people watching the show, I'm sure know I'm conservative and I'm open about, following laws in this country. I love Mexicans. I mean, there's just, but it doesn't matter whether they're illegal or not in that moment because it's a disaster. People are hungry. People need food. I mean, at the end of the day, you're in our country. We will take care of you. And citizens were really the ones who stepped up and helped and are helping and going back and not the Red Cross.
Okay. Is there a reputable website that shows the percentage breakdown of contributions versus what actually goes to the programs for Red Cross, Salvation Army, stuff like that?
So I know that they have a breakdown of the profit that the CEO makes and the COO. I think, don't quote me, I think it's 400 to 600,000. I think that was the last time I saw the number was like 400,000. Okay, cool. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. But there is no breakdown of where the money's going to. Like, for example, all these celebrities are donating millions of dollars a pop. And you would think that they would go out there in public and say, okay, this is how much money we're allotting to the Hurricane Relief Fund, Hurricane Harvey Relief Fund, and this is how much we're going to be, giving out for Hurricane Irma. If you check their website, they never talk about that. They never give you a number. So for all I know, they're giving, I don't know, maybe, oh, and actually, I was just speaking about this on my show, and I've had people send in, showing pictures of Red Cross actually throwing out food because they have, now they're getting involved, or I don't know, but again, they're not looking hard enough because there are plenty of people that need food and water out there. So I don't know what the heck they're doing. Again, what we've noticed, they were lazy. They just stood there. They never left their little truck. 2 people we saw the whole time never left their truck. Again, made fun of us because we're giving out hot dogs and trying to feed people like crazy.
Do your research, people. Don't give blindly just because celebrities endorse it for their own personal publicity gain.
Prestige. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, look at me. I'm giving $1 million away. I'm a good person.
Yeah, and then
you're just rich.
You're just rich, and you're also trying to get a buzz online. And a lot of, and it's clear to me there are a lot of people, a lot of celebrities out there that do it, do what's trending of the day, and take advantage of a situation and taking advantage of, using it for public relations. I mean, I have friends who are celebrities, very well-known celebrities, who tell me the same thing, that it's, first of all, a lot of it is BS, celebrity, that whole thing. It is so fake, so fake. And number one, number two, that it's specifically all fake because of the PR. It's all to get in the buzz, all to make sure you're out there and being spoken about, because other, celebrities come in and out, and they want to be talked about. So, but at the same time, I should say, good for them for donating. Maybe they are unaware of the disaster that is a Red Cross. I mean, I was one that thought the Red Cross did amazing things. I see them on TV. I think they're doing great things. So a lot of them are ignorant in that they don't know, and I really hope they're watching your show. I hope they're watching, different conservative shows, because conservatives are not afraid to talk about what's going on in the country and be afraid to be called conspiracy theorists. Like, I give zero craps about that. I will say what I've seen with my own two eyes, and I don't care what people say about that.
Yeah, sometimes the sheep are afraid to open their eyes and see what's really going on.
Yeah. So donate to local people, churches, and groups you find on Facebook that have a lot of pictures. That's where you donate. I'm going to stop talking now.
No, that's fine. It just, one of the things that always rubs me the wrong way is I see like a celebrity on Twitter say, for every retweet this gets or every like this gets, I give $5 to Red Cross or whatever charity. When it's so, just beneficial for them more than Red Cross. And I wonder if any celebrities have ever been outed for not actually giving X amount after getting X amount of retweets.
Yeah, there was a celebrity that tweeted, or an athlete or something that tweeted, "I will donate a bag of dog food for every retweet I get." I think it was like 22,000 bags, right? I don't know. Did that guy? I don't know his name. I don't follow sports. So did he end up buying all that dog food? Because it's needed down there.
Who knows? No one ever follows up on that part.
No one ever follows up. People forget. People are on the next thing, which I understand. Life goes on. But here's what really struck me and really got me upset when I was down there, was seeing everything that's going on, the miscommunication, how badly the community was hit, and how unprepared that town was. It's such a small town. People were not prepared. People are starving. Literally, this isn't in the news, but we were told that we couldn't go to certain locations because we were going to get shot at, because there's MS-13 there. There's MS-13. They were literally told, if you go down the street and go down this little community, first of all, you can't give out food. Let them, the community would come to us, pick up food. But if you do go down these few streets in this community, you will get shot at if you stop your car. There's a lot of illegals, which are afraid. I understand. They're it's not a sanctuary city anymore. So, you'll get deported. It's a sin at such a pivotal and such a disaster time. People are afraid of this. I really hope they weren't, because people need help and they shouldn't be afraid to come out. It's sad. But at the same time, we were warned not to go through. We get shot at. So they said, just keep going. Just press on your gas and just keep going. We're like, okay. So that was eye-opening. But again, there's people getting shot and killed and robbed for supplies. I mean, MS-13 is not even going to us. They're going to communities, and they're just robbing, killing, stealing. I mean, there's a reason why the CIA is down there.
Yeah, MS-13 is a very hardcore gang. I wouldn't want to mess with them.
I wouldn't want to mess with them either. And I'm thankful, there's things that I disagree with Trump on, and everyone thinks I'm just a Trumper. He can't do wrong. No, he could do wrong. There's plenty I disagree with. But there's plenty I also agree with. And one thing, I'm glad he's coming after MS-13. He's really coming after them. It's a really big issue, and it's very, very dangerous out there, and eye-opening, and yeah. Okay. But speaking about puppies, though, and dog food, that was one of the big reasons I went down there, was to rescue doggies and puppies and kitties. And I'm a huge animal lover. Everyone that knows me knows that. I know you are too. You rescue dogs. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
You were involved with the AMA Animal Rescue. You were in Houston for Hurricane Harvey. I saw a Facebook video of you feeding puppies out of the back of a pickup truck.
Yeah. I started a charity with two of my best friends at the time, AMA Animal Rescue. That stood for Anna Maria Anna, because that was what it stands for, AMA Animal Rescue. And we finally became a 501c3, but for a long, long time we weren't. For about I think 8 months, we were rescuing dogs. We would rescue dogs and cats off the euthanasia list, so the risk list of who is getting put to sleep the next morning, and we would rescue as many as we could. And since we were in a rescue, we couldn't rescue more than one at a time, and we had to go on different names, and it was pretty crazy, but very well worth it. Now it's much easier being a rescue. You can rescue as many dogs as you want at the same time, and you get first dibs. But Eye-opening too, because shelters go, and I don't mean to talk about sad stuff, but I talk about, what's really going on in the shelters. I mean, animals and dogs get put to sleep every 2-3 days. Like, they come in, you think they're going to find a home. They get kennel cough, so they're deemed, which is easily treated with antibiotics. A lot of pit bulls in New York, you guys know, and get put to sleep. I mean, they get put to sleep every 2-3 days. That's the cycle. And a lot of times people don't adopt black dogs and black cats, which I never knew until I started rescuing. The superstition of it's not like people are racist, like the superstition of like having superstitious of freaking black cats and black dogs. It's such a sin. It's so sad. So a lot of dogs we rescued were lovely, lovely black dogs and black cats. But yeah, it was just it's just craziness what goes on there. But we rescued, at the time before I left, was about like 300 dogs and cats put together, which is pretty significant for 8 months. We have a ton of fosters, which were always full. I took in a dog. I have 3 cats that I rescued, and took a dog home one day because we were full of fosters. But yeah, so I unfortunately am not involved with AMA anymore. I do donate to them still. My friend Chris Bod won $8,000 in this charity poker tournament, and I shipped them the check. Chris called me and said, which animal rescue should you donate to? Should I donate to? And I gave them AMA. We went separate ways for a few different reasons. I never made it public. I don't think I will go through the real reason, but there was internal issues, and I don't think they understood the whole poker thing, that I was traveling at the time, and they didn't like that too much. And even though I'm on TV and WPT talking about raising money all the time, they didn't understand it. So anyway, we had issues, but I'm going to end it there. So I had to step away. Unfortunately, I had to step away from my baby, and something that I, dearly, dearly always wanted to have was a rescue charity. But I have friends in the poker community who are telling me, don't worry, there's plenty of people in the poker community that love animals, and we'll definitely be able to, I'll be able to start something eventually with someone. So,
Well, that's great. If anyone out there wants an animal and they want to rescue an animal, please do it that way. Don't buy the cute puppy. I know that's the cool thing to do. It's tempting. That's what your kids are going to want. Mm-hmm. Save a life, because odds are many of those puppies, once they become adults, families realize they can't care for them, and they just give them up for adoption, and they never get adopted. They go to a kill shelter, or they're just abandoned. And that's when the animal rescues come into play to help save those lives. There's overpopulation, dogs, cats. That's why Bob Barker says, have your pets spayed or neutered. We have too many. We don't have enough families that have the time and resources and energy to take care of these animals. So save a life, adopt, donate to these adoption places like the Las Vegas Boxer Rescue, which you can find more info about on jeffboski.com, or get in touch with Anna for any animal rescue questions or concerns.
Yeah, and go ahead.
You said something about charity poker tournaments. You said you've been involved in a lot of those?
Yeah, recently. I normally don't, but I know. Well, I was just at the WPT one for a school to raise money for public schools, which was really nice. Phil Hellmuth was hosting it. They do a really good job raising good amount of money, from Wall Street that contributed a lot of money for public schools, which was great. Even though whatever, but anyway, they do good things here and there. But there's CHOP coming up also on November 30th in New York City, which I went to last year, which is for the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. So I don't really do many charity tournaments, but once in a while I'll go to one. It's fun. You get to play some poker, and you get to meet some people, and have some food and stuff, and donate to good causes. And CHOP is a really, really good one. So I will always, and public schools will always help out.
Okay, I know that there's a circuit event coming up at Planet Hollywood in November. They always have a charity $200 rebuy tournament. Usually a couple celebrities show up. It's a real good time. People are feeling good. They're not super competitive with their headphones on, hoodies up. They're there to have a good time, help out the animals, and that's what really matters in the end.
Jennifer Harmon has a really good one too. I really want to make it out to one.
I think that's the one, ASPCA or something.
Yeah. And, same thing with rescues also. Same thing with, same advice I would give to about the Red Cross and these big charities, I would really be careful. I mean, I know ASPCA does good work. There are rumors that I've heard. I mean, again, I've heard rumors of Red Cross, and I've seen firsthand that they were true. I haven't seen firsthand with ASPCA, but I've heard rumors. I always steer clear from big organizations that have big top-heavy money that they give out to their CEOs. I would really be careful. You know, I used to donate to them. I used to donate to Humane Society, but you know, they send so much stuff to your house. Like they send so much waste of paper and stickers and like stamps. Like I'm donating to you guys. I want it to go to the dogs, 100%. Maybe okay, 95%, 99%. You know, you can take 1% of it, but that's going to the dogs. I don't need pamphlets. I don't need these envelopes. I don't need all this crap. I don't need these stickers. Like I can buy them on my own. Like I'm donating to the dogs. So what I would recommend is you find local rescues, you know, such as AMA is a really good one. Firsthand, I saw it's a real nonprofit. None of the girls are making money. None of the girls are making money. And it goes 100% to the dogs. I mean, eventually, our goal was to eventually become, you know, a big enough rescue that we can just do this full time. And of course we'd have to take a salary. We wouldn't make it 400,000, you know, we'd make it so we can pay our bills and be able to follow our passions, which is to save dogs. That's the whole goal. And so I would say donate to local rescues. You know, Sean Casey Animal Rescue is a really good one in New York. I mean, if you look up rescues, they do really good work. And the thing is, again, you know, even non-kill shelters, they say they're non-kill, but they eventually, when they're full or when they just want to get rid of a dog, they send that dog to a kill shelter. So you think you're giving a dog to a non-kill shelter, and they end up getting killed in a week or two or whatever it may be. Because again, non-kill shelters give dogs and cats to the kill shelter. People don't know this, but this is a fact. This happens all the time. So again, I agree with you totally. No, don't breed. And I don't want to, you know, I don't want to be annoying, but it's so true. And when you see it firsthand and you go to a shelter, even if you go to a non-kill shelter, go to a kill shelter, see with your own two eyes. You will never forget those faces. You'll never forget how much they're struggling. So anyway, I would say don't breed. If your dog or cat comes out outside a lot, I would say spay and neuter them. If they're at home, I mean, you know, that's a different story. But you know, it's just don't breed, guys. There's so much life out there that gets put to sleep all the time, and they're lovely. And try to donate also. Try to rescue like even 2-3-year-old dogs. Like we donated. I rescued a ton of dogs that were 3-4 years old, and they are the happiest things in the world, and they're so grateful, and they're the best dogs, and you know, they give up on life, and we rescued them. So rescue.
Absolutely. Say no to puppy mills. They're doing it for a profit. They don't care about the humanity of the world of dogs, the overpopulation. Say no to puppies. Don't rescue a dog today. You're saving a life. They're saving your life. They're a companion for life. They'll be grateful.
So grateful. Much
better to do it that way. Do you have any poker tournaments coming up on your schedule?
I don't right now. I'm currently on hold with the poker for a little bit now since the summer. Yeah, I know there's the Borgata events going on right now. I am not playing in them. I am actually going to visit my family in Israel next week and just prepping all that stuff, make sure my show has episodes to put on because it's a weekly show. So I have to make sure I have some episodes to put up. So, and I'm currently working on a book and some projects. So I don't have much time to play poker, crazy enough, but poker will always be there, you know, from what my friends tell me, because I get nostalgic sometimes and I follow them and I see they're traveling all over the world in the country and playing all these cool tournaments. But, you know, number one, I needed to find a stable job because obviously, you know, you need to have a stable income when you're playing poker. And, you know, most people know that I mostly play cash anyway, but since I'm traveling around quite a bit, I don't have poker tables, cash games everywhere. So I have to make sure I have an income and you know, so I have some local things that I do in New York and stuff like that. So, but yeah, no poker tournaments coming up except the charity one in November.
I know a few females on Twitter, poker players, have been quite vocal about how they feel discriminated or segregated when they're playing a poker tournament or a cash game, often harassed. Have you ever felt anything like that while playing? You know,
so,
or are they just overreacting, you know?
Well, I'm gonna be dead honest. I mean, people know I'm say what's on my mind. I'm what's on my mind, I will tell you. So in my opinion, do I feel that people constantly, what was the word, sexist and all that stuff?
Or just discriminated or singled out, or, you know, just treated unfairly based upon your gender?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I have not. I'm going to be honest with you. Do I feel discriminated against? No, actually, I feel like it's a huge advantage to be a woman at the table. Use your advantage to, everyone has a different thing. Everyone has a, you know, as a woman, you know, I can sit around and feel bad for myself, and I can sit around and say, hey, listen, I just get treated poorly at the table. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I've had a few guys, you know, especially when I first started playing, you know, take advantage of the fact that I'm a girl and like was new to the game, and they would, you know, ask me, and this is again when I first started playing, especially in Borgata, first started playing live cash, when they're like, oh, you can fold, honey, you can trust me, and they were lying to me, and like they were taking advantage of the girl card of me being too nice, you know. So that happened early in the game. Later on in the game, I saw it as an advantage, you know. People, I swear, I've had guys on the final table of a Borgata event. I made a few final tables there, and again, I was, you know, new to the game, but I had a guy show me his cards. He told me to fold, and I'm like, shh. I'm like, first of all, you're not supposed to talk to me. Second of all, this guy's just whispering in my ear. He's like, fold, I have kings, and I'm like, looking at him, I'm like, oh, another guy lying to me, and this hasn't happened in a few years. He's lying to me again. I'm in the small blind. I remember I had 8 bigs, and I had pocket 9s, and I was all in. I was all in. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm sure you have kings, and then all of a sudden he picks up his cards and he shows it to me. He was on the button, and he shows it to me, and I'm like, okay, this is okay. He has kings, so that's so he raised. I mucked. Obviously, when a guy shows you kings, you muck your 9s. You're definitely right, obviously, and so I've noticed an advantage. I mean, as a female at the table, I mean, guys don't do that nowadays. But listen, use your advantage. You know, use your advantage. I play up the woman card if there's, you know, amateurs at the table. Obviously, if there's pros at the table, they don't care whether you're a woman, whether you're a man, whether you're, you know, what, they don't care. They're trying to, you know, play the game. But what I would say is, I don't feel discriminated against. You know, once in a while, a guy will say something like, oh, hey, pretty, or something, and like kind of in a, you know, just a kind of an annoying way, you know, where sometimes guys whistle when you're walking down the streets. They'll try to whistle at you. But a lot of times it's you know, it's how should I say it? It's flattering sometimes. Like some guys are very professional about it and very, you know, nice about it. But some guys can be dweebs. But are guys dweebs to guys sometimes? Like, is it just a thing that girls go through? I don't think so. Like, I don't think so. I don't say, boo-hoo, I'm a girl, I get treated badly. I don't. And no. So I would disagree with those girls. Like, for example, Khait Hall, you know, and she makes things like that all the time out there public. Like, ugh. I don't identify with social justice warriors. I mean, for me, they're the exact opposite of freedom in this country. When you use social identity politics in this country, I mean, it's complete BS. And I'll put it out there. So Khait Hall, I don't know what you're talking about, girl.
Bang,
I'm sure things have happened again. Like I said, I have had, you know, and I know that people will talk about this. I know she'll watch this. And big hello to Khait Hall. I never met her. I've heard good things about her. But like I said, with me, I've heard a guy or two say some things, but again, ignore them. Just ignore them. You know, it's taking away from the game. Let them talk about you at the table and focus on the game. If you're really a professional poker player, you really wouldn't care, right? Play your game.
There's a fine line between being creepy and complimentary. Exactly.
And like I said, some guys are creepy and most guys are very, very complimentary and very nice. I mean, again, and let me say this, I don't know her experiences. You know, I don't know any personal stories. She's never told me them. Maybe she's had, you know, I'm not going to take that away from her, maybe, possibly. But again, I am not going to play the victim card as a woman at the table. It is such an advantage being a woman at the table. For the most part, I should say. So I hate when people play victim. I cannot stand it. It's really annoying, especially when I hear it from women.
No, from all the tournaments I've played, if an attractive female's at the table, the guys are more than happy to not want to bust them just because they enjoy their presence. And even when they do bust them, the guy will always say, I was rooting for her, or why'd you do that? She's the only good-looking person at the table. Now I got to look at you idiots.
Exactly. And I remember playing early on with amateurs also. When I just started playing the game, there was a guy that showed me ace king one time and folded. I was in the blinds, which is illegal. He's supposed to be going all in. It's kind of collusion, in a way. But again, he showed it to me and he folded. He's like, I don't want to knock you out. You're short. I was in the big blind. I'm pretty sure I was in the big blind. But because you guys like, I want you to hang around. Okay, straight. Is he sex? What? Like, no, guy wants me to hang out. Okay, I'll hang out. I'll have another beer, hang out. So again,
it's a win-win.
It's a win-win. If you enjoy my company, I'll stick around and I'll take all your chips. That's fine with me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have you heard about any strange staking arrangements with attractive young females and older guys where they put them in tournaments for alleged favors, stuff like that, or the illusion of, hey, if I put her in this 1K, she wins, we can celebrate, have a good time, she'll like me, bada boom, bada bing.
Wait a second. Have I heard about these things? Like,
yeah,
is it like a thing?
Yeah, I've heard rumors, not about you or anything, just about girls in the poker ecosystem, staking for. I
mean, I wouldn't be surprised that goes on. I've never heard of one. No comment. If women want to do that, do you? I'm not the one to judge, but do I know about groups like that? No, I don't. I wouldn't be surprised, I should say. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Hey, everyone wins, right?
Yeah. Everyone thinks they get the best end of the deal, looking out for themselves and future enjoyment.
Who am I to say you can't go enjoy? Have fun.
Absolutely. No, I'm not big on politics. It's all just kind of hitting me in the head back and forth. I don't try to take a side, although I'm not even going to take a side. But I follow Donald Trump on Twitter, and do you think his tweets are a little bit unprofessional?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I totally. Again, I am honest with my opinion. Like I said, there's things I agree with. There's things I disagree with. There's things as a president. Is it unprofessional to tweet about someone's hair or someone's face? Yeah, you should be busy doing work like a president should be. I know he does work all day long, and I know I should say I know because I have friends who are very, very close friends with him. So like I hear things that I sometimes don't even make public. B, it's a really good family, I should say, from what I hear. They do really good things. There's a lot of charitable things that he does that he never talks about in public. Even years ago, people would ask him, and my friend told me that he's had people ask him, well, why don't you make this public that you're, donate to this event and then donate to this charity? He said it's bad for his image. Even back in the day, it's bad for his image. He's a bad boy image. And so he's a very terrible man. He's a very good man. Again, there's things I disagree with, but I do disagree that I think that he should play it cool on Twitter. It's on the one hand, I love that he has Twitter. I love that he gets his messages out there. He doesn't have to go through mainstream media. A lot of times they twist what he says. I noticed this years ago when there was a Putin speech, years ago. This is before I was into politics. I was per poker all the time. Never would have thought I would ever have any interest in politics. Pretty surprising there, to be honest with you, even now. But I remember there was a speech by Putin, and I remember watching the bit and how they translated it, and I thought that's really messed up. And I actually ended up Googling his speech. And since I speak Russian, I can understand what he said without having a translation. And it was way off, like completely off. And that is actually when I had my suspicions that in the mainstream media, there's things that they say that are true. Of course, they cover things that, conservative channels might not cover, absolutely. And which I'm not saying all fake news, but there's some misinformation out there. And I noticed this years ago before I got into politics. So again, I would always double check my sources, alternative media and all that stuff to make sure it adds up. But yeah, to my answer to Donald Trump tweets, yeah, he can tone it down a little bit for sure.
No, for sure. I think that it's very entertaining and it's uncensored.
It is entertaining.
It's just his pure thoughts in the moment. He's just like
sad. Yeah, he vents on Twitter, and I'm like, oh my god! It's like a reality show still on Twitter, which is freaking awesome at the same time scary. But at the same, but here's the thing with Trump: you will know what he's thinking. on the one hand, yes, I think that he should tone down some of the things he says and some of the jabs he makes when people leave and say, hey, whatever, I'll find someone else anyway. Like, I wouldn't say that if I were him, but again, exactly what's on his mind. So would I rather have someone who has this, facade and you never know what they're thinking, or would I rather have a president who tweets exactly what's on his mind? I honestly, even though I disagree with some of the things he said, I would rather have him speak his mind and have someone who's transparent, personally, right? I don't know. How about you?
Absolutely. I'd rather hear the truth than fictitious reality. I can handle the truth.
Good. You're not triggered? You sure you don't get? Yeah, no.
No reason to get triggered. I know you're far deeper into all this than I could ever want to be. But when he tweets about, like, I guess there's a bad news article about him and he just calls it fake news, is that accurate? Is that like his defense mechanism?
So I would say, obviously Trump has a massive ego. Like, he has a massive ego. He's extremely arrogant. Yes, it's annoying. I personally don't like guys or gals that are just massively arrogant. I love humble people. I think there's just such honor and integrity that comes with people that are humble. He talks about all the money he has and all that stuff. And at the same time, he didn't come from nothing. He came from a wealthy family. He's turned that into billions, which is, that is an achievement. And I congratulate him for it. And I understand why he's proud of it. I totally get it. And, he doesn't seem like, he probably doesn't think he's boasting, but he is sometimes. And it's a little annoying. But at the same time, he feels like he achieved in life. Awesome. Like, I'm happy for you. Anyone that goes out and turns an empire from nothing, that is something amazing. That's tough to do. Your question was what again? Sorry.
Just how if there's a bad article and
bad article, fake news.
He hits it with fake news. Are they always fake news, or is that just his way of saying, no, this can't be true?
Right. So, so again, like, he's arrogant. So, and he always uses the term fake news. I mean, listen, there are plenty of real news articles out there. A lot of times when you scream wolf so many times, people are not going to take you seriously. So there are plenty of times there were fake news and misinformed news and, things that they twist up here and there. Again, if you watch a speech and then you look at the media and how their take on it, like liberal TV, that aren't openly liberal, but are not liberal, I should say, left-leaning, completely left-leaning, even though CNN doesn't want to admit it, you're freaking left-leaning. At least Fox can admit that it's right-leaning. At least they're honest with that. Like, they're right-leaning. Every channel, every YouTube show, everything you're going to watch, every podcast, every show has a bias. My show, obviously, I'm open about it. I have a biased show. I'm a conservative, so I see from my lens, it's as much as I want to say objective, I care about limited government. So I'm always going to bash big government. I'm always going to bash this government taking over healthcare, government taking over schools. And anytime, government gets bigger and expands and starts putting their little tentacles and everything, it goes to crap. It goes to crap. Back in the day, churches would take care of the poor communities and the poor and the homeless. There was seldomly any poor people on the streets. And then once government got bigger, it said, churches, we got it. We'll take care of it. We'll just raise money and we'll take care of the poor. There's so many homeless people out there. Government doesn't do a good job when they get involved. Anyway, that's another topic. But so he definitely uses fake news a little too much. I think he cries wolf too much. Like I said, there's things I agree with. There's things I'm like, all right, well, crying wolf too much. And some things are real news. And he's biased from himself. And obviously there's things that even Fox News won't know, or like I won't know, because we really I'm not in their inner circle. Like, I have friends that tell me things and clear things up for me, knowing them and stuff. But even still, there's things that they might not know. I mean, so again, Trump is defensive and I think uses fake news a little too much. But there's some fake news out there, though.
Well said. Well said. You are involved in this format already with the Anna Khait show. Can you tell the viewers when they can watch that and some past and future guests that you'll have on?
Sure. So my show, which is like a little thing right now, and I just have fun on it. I'm surprised people even watch it, to be honest with you. But it's just, I guess, just world events that I talk about, politics, and I just try to have different guests on that have books on. And so my show is the Anna Khait Show on YouTube. I'm mostly political. I talk about pop culture too. So my shows are live on Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern time. It's weekly. And some of the guests that I had on before were Dinesh D'Souza, Tommy Robinson, who's a well-known conservative in the UK, Jack Posobiec, who worked on many different campaigns, mostly Republican, well-known for, really good guy. I try to mostly have patriots on my show, people that, in my opinion, fight for liberty and fight for limited government. So, but I also want to have different perspectives on. It's going to take a little. I thought it would happen sooner than later, but I want to have like a perspective of like someone from the left and someone on the right, like duke it out. You know what I mean? Like in a very hopefully civilized manner, because this is So I try to stay objective as I can, but I'm obviously conservative too. So. But yeah, I want to have different ideas out there. I mean, right now it's mostly conservative people. Which were nice enough to come on my show, didn't know who the heck I was, and decided to come on my little show with my audio problems, but which I've since figured out. but yeah, so that's kind of.
That's a good format. I know Joe Rogan has had a few double guests on before that have conflicting viewpoints as to existence of dinosaurs, politics, MMA, all different stuff, and it keeps it civil.
He does keep it civil. I love Joe Rogan and that he has these different perspectives. So that's kind of what I was thinking too. Not trying to copy. I mean, Joe Rogan is the man when it comes to that. But like political discussion, he does political stuff too a lot. But kind of like that, where you have just have conversation and have people talk about issues and talk about real news, talk about what's really going on, and sometimes what's really going on is from your own perspective, right? So everyone again has a bias, but everyone has their own perspective. The way that you get the full story of what's going on in Texas is you hear different perspectives from different people. So I have my perspective. My friend was on there. My friend Joe Biggs, who was on my show today, who is a vet, well-known guy. I used to watch InfoWars a lot, and he was well-known reporter on InfoWars. I don't really listen to InfoWars that much anymore, but anyway. Well-known reporter, has his perspective of what's going on in Texas, and we had a really good discussion. And yeah, I love Joe Rogan's show. He has a lot of psychology in there, a lot of really, really cool stuff, and conspiracy theories, of dinosaurs or no dinosaurs or evolution and all that stuff. And I think it's fascinating, interesting, and round the flat Earth and round Earth and all that crazy stuff. So I should say crazy. It is a little bit, whatever.
Crazy is a harsh word. It's usually for those that really don't understand what's going on.
Exactly. I hate to use the word crazy because, man, let me say this. There's so much deception and so many lies, which I won't even begin to fathom that I'll ever know the truth about anything, because there's so much stuff that's undercover and hidden and I'll never know about. You know what I mean? I'm well aware of that. But there's so much deceit and lies. You never know who's telling the truth, right? So I would never be surprised. I mean, I think it's a freaking round Earth. I mean, I think it would be crazy if it was flat. But I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know, but I don't know. At the same time, I would be really surprised because that just doesn't make sense. But exactly, I don't like to say crazy or conspiracy theorist because again, a lot of times people are just saying what's on their mind and what they're doing research on, and they designate many years of their life to finding out the truth. And it's just interesting to hear different perspectives and different stuff.
Yeah, I think it's best to keep an open mind, see both sides of every argument, and judge for yourself based on what information you have, what research you've done. A lot of people, when they're 3 or 4 years old, they'd bet their life that Santa Claus exists until they do a little research, and hey, it's impossible for Santa Claus to exist.
Right, and then you lay in the living room with one eye open, hoping to see Santa, and you see your mom in her pajamas putting gifts under the tree. You got to have your eyes open. Actually, that's a really good analogy. You got to have your eyes open and
stay woke.
Stay woke and always question. With the thing is with me is that I when someone tells me something, I don't ever believe them. I have to do research. I have to investigate. I have done my fair share of trusting people that I've been screwed over with or found that are lying. I do my own research now. So but even with the left-leaning research and even with the right-leaning research, you really still don't know the truth is. There's so much stuff we'll never really know the answers to, Yeah.
And did you see the Joe Rogan, Eddie Bravo episode 9/11 with Alex Jones?
I saw the one that Alex Jones was on. Did they talk about 9/11? I think.
No, it was episode number 9/11.
Oh, he just had a episode, no?
with Alex Jones is a few months ago. It was like the most watched Joe Rogan experience ever.
I definitely seen snippets of it. I know that I watched Alex Jones when he was last on. So I guess that's 9/11. An interesting number. I didn't realize that it was 9/11.
Yeah, they did that on purpose.
Wait. They were drinking and smoking, a little smoky,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh yeah, they were getting out of control at the end there.
Yeah, I remember seeing good amounts of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
I remember him going on. It's so funny how Joe makes fun of him because they're friends.
Yeah.
And Alex Jones is so out there, such a personality, and like really can be a little colorful. You know what I mean?
He gets too excited. He gets too adamant, and people think he's not as credible because he gets so pumped up about stuff.
Yeah, but I have to say, having friends that go on his show, Jack Posobiec and Mike Cernovich, who go on his show quite often. I mean, this is who he is. They say he's just that seems like it's craziness. Like he's so passionate about what he's talking about. When people may believe it or not believe it, that's cool. You be the judge of that. That's fine. No one's telling you, like you said, no one, like even on my show, I say, and even with the Red Cross, I say with that, like, don't trust me. Don't take my word for it. Go out there yourself and see. Like when there's a disaster, go out. Don't take my word for it. Go out there and see yourself. Like, and so, but he's very passionate. Like that's what he really, really believes in. So, you're getting his perspective. And if you think it's crazy, then don't watch it. But like, I don't watch it all the time now. Seldomly, really. But he's definitely colorful. But he's passionate is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, very popular, and
very popular.
Gets his point across.
Yep. And interesting things he covers.
Okay, so if any of the viewers want to check out Anna Khait's podcast, that's on Thursdays, 3 p.m. EST on YouTube. You're also working on a book currently, is that correct?
Yes, so I started working on a book, and it's on hold right now because I'm working on a few projects, which I'm really excited about. It's going to be pretty big if it goes through, and we're working on contracts. But yeah, so fingers crossed on that. I can't yet talk about what it's about, but it's a documentary, and it would be something about history and something really fascinating and a really big, maybe myth, maybe real. It's going to be a research kind of documentary, and it's one of the most famous stories, and especially in Europe. I should say, I'll give that hint. I'm not dropping any more hints. I'm gonna get in trouble. But we're about to sign the contract, and we're about to sign on investors, and they're really looking to sell it on Netflix. So it would be really big if it goes through, and it would be many months of filming and stuff like that. So I don't know why the heck they reached out to me, but they did, and that's what I'm working on. So the book is currently on hold.
Okay.
But yeah, I was working on a book where I am just doing more research on Russian Revolution, and I'm from Russia. I'm first generation immigrant, legal immigrant, waited online and all that. Got to throw that in there. I always do. It's pretty annoying. I'm sure people are watching, but I don't really care. Legal immigrant. So I came when I was 4, and I have, my grandparents, my great grandparents have told me horror stories because Russians have been through Russian Revolution. They have been through, socialism, which these socialists said, hey, we'll make your country more prosperous. They instituted socialism, which quickly turned into communism and led to 6 million deaths in Russia, 60 million deaths in the Soviet Union. And then my grandparents also went through, so that was my great grandparents. My grandparents that went through the Nazis, and so I've heard plenty of stories from them, and very eye-opening, and have to say it's interesting coming to this country, specifically for, more opportunity and the Constitution, First Amendment, Second Amendment. Like First Amendment is the most important amendment. And this is why I'm so vocal when it comes to politics, is that like, even though I completely disagree with Charlottesville, and I completely disagree with, I'm half Jewish. Like my dad is Jewish. Like I celebrate Jewish holidays, and I celebrate Christian holidays. Like I'm a Masonic Jew, or I'm a Jew that believes in Jesus. And like, so I am best of both worlds. but I completely disagree with these Nazis walking around saying, Jews are bad and whatever Jews and all this stuff. Like I completely disagree with it, but at the same time, people have the right in this country to say what they want to say, even though I disagree with it, even though you may disagree with it, or anyone else disagrees with it, and even if it's hateful or whatever, I agree it's hateful, but again, you know, hate speech is covered under the First Amendment. It's covered under the First Amendment. So again, as long as you don't institute violence and have violence occur in this country, I'm against violence. But First Amendment, like, we don't have that in Russia. Like, my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents couldn't say anything about politics. You couldn't talk about religion. You know, if you were a Jew back in the day, it was so anti-Semitic that they would kill you. You would go missing, and they would kill you. Like, it was very anti-Semitic under Stalin, and before him too. And so my family grew up telling me, even when we came to America, don't talk about religion and don't talk about politics. Like, this is the mentality coming even to America. Like, just be careful. Like, don't, because we weren't used to the system. We weren't used to this country and how open everyone is, and how my parents, at first was really shocking when I got into politics and I became very open about, politics and my viewpoints and everything. They were shocked, and they honestly told me not to do it. They told me, well, aren't you afraid to go missing? Aren't you afraid to get killed? And I said, no, I'm not really. I mean, I get death threats here and there, but like, I will always speak my mind. And I think, again, the First Amendment is the most important. We didn't have that in Russia. We would, and big reason why we wouldn't have the First Amendment is because your neighbors listening next door, if they hear something under communism, they were supposed to tell a local authority, and you'd end up going missing. Like, it's like the book 1984. You couldn't say things, again, politics, religion-wise, you will go missing. You can't say anything against Stalin or Lenin, you will go missing.
Yeah, freedom of speech, very important.
And this is why it's so important. It's the most important amendment here. And again, even though I disagree with the Nazis, because again, I'm freaking Jewish. So all those idiot poker players that tweet at me and say, you're Nazi, you're Nazi. No, you're a freaking idiot is what you are. You're an idiot. Like, I'm not a Nazi if I'm Jewish, you moron. Like, it's impossible. It's freaking impossible. So really, I mean, I laugh at it now. There's so much, there's stuff that circulate all the time, and there's something I tweet out, someone in the poker world, tweets it out, I get all this hate stuff. And honestly, like, I, first of all, love the block button. It makes my day. Number two, I really don't care. Like, that's my perspective. Like, if you don't think people have the right to say something in this country, why don't you move to Russia? Why don't you move to communist China? Go to places where you don't have freedom of speech. Like, go ahead. In this country, we're allowed to say what we want to say, as long as you don't incite violence, and that is not okay. I mean, it's gun violent, but which is why, in that way, I disagree with it. But again, you should be able to say what you want to say.
Absolutely.
And I'll protect speech that I disagree with because of the First Amendment. And I'm like huge on freedom of speech, again, because it's such a novelty that we have here. People take it for granted, like these spoiled Americans, like, myself included, for a very long time. I was spoiled for a good amount of time, like, but seeing again, like traveling again and going to Russia and like, and going to Mexico again, like, people don't understand how good they have it here. It's so easy to sit behind their computer and troll and to make fun of people and to mock people and to, talk about how bad America is. People don't realize how amazing they have it in America. They have no idea. And in that way, they're spoiled because they would have a culture shock if they ever traveled to Russia. Huge culture shock. I'm going back there in a few months. I'm bracing myself to keep it zipped, Yeah,
it's true. People don't appreciate the freedoms they have until they've been stripped of them, like going to prison or something.
Right. It's a huge issue with our, prison system. And yeah, we have issues in our country too. Don't get me wrong. We have a lot of issues in our country. Our biggest issue is not white supremacy. Our biggest issue is the economy. Is jobs, is the economy. So I hate all these celebrities that say out there, oh, well, white supremacy is the biggest issue. No, it's not. Well, we had 200 idiot white nationalists come out in Charlottesville and say how much they hate Black people and say how much they hate Jews. 200 people, you had months to organize your event, and you have 200 people come. I'm not worried about these, frankly, hateful group of ignorant people. But that's not the biggest issue in our country. Our biggest issue in our country is our economy, guys. We're at $20 million worth of debt. I mean, there's presidents back in the day that have said, when we reach 21 million, sorry, not million, did I say million? $1 trillion in debt?
Trillion, yeah.
We're at 20 trillion right now. There's a few presidents that have said, when we reach $21 trillion in debt, there's no going back. There's no going back, which is scary. Again, and this is why I'm outspoken of politics, because it's like, what the heck? No one's paying attention to it. But at the same time, not much we can do except just try to wake people up and try to get people involved and get people elected. So.
Yeah. Well, the Fed can just print more money until we reach hyperinflation. Then we're really doomed.
And then we're really screwed. And then you'll be like Nicaragua, and you can not Nicaragua. You'll be like Nigeria,
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe. Thank you, Zimbabwe. You have trillions of dollars in your pocket, and you're just like you're a millionaire and you're a trillionaire out there, and like it means nothing. It's paper. We're a fiat currency, and we have massive issue with inflation, and it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, that's why cryptocurrency has been booming and swinging wildly recently, but it could be the future.
It could be. One of my good friend Chuck Johnson, a well-known conservative, he is the largest distributor of Bitcoin in the Northern Hemisphere.
Oh, he has an exchange?
Yep, he has an exchange, and it's from what I understand, it's a huge process to actually get these crypto things made. I thought it was like easy, you just make them. He goes, no, Anna, we have these like massive machines that like pump out these things, and it takes time. And so he's currently finding new technology that can make it a little faster, but it's like, I had friends that told me invest in. I told my other friends invest in it, and because I had some good sources telling me that it's a really, really good thing to invest in. And I didn't have a lot of extra money. I wish I could have, because it was around like $200, $300 at that time. And I'm like, I wish I would have bought it, or one or two, because now it's like, I haven't checked. I don't check every day, but since I don't have any in there, over 3,000, and it's cool. But it's also scary because the big banks, I'm sure, don't like it. So eventually they'll figure something out. So,
Very
maybe
well
getting
said.
it out.
Yeah, it's extremely volatile. Bitcoin was about $5,000 a coin a few weeks ago. It's currently about $3,000 a coin. People are freaking out, panic selling, saying it's all doom and gloom now, but that's just the market cycle of an extremely volatile cryptocurrency.
Exactly. And people were saying that it was going to be doomed, many, many months ago, and it's just been continuing to go up. And like any stock, it goes up, it goes down, and it goes through phases, and it goes through the natural life cycle of a stock, a natural life cycle of, it's going to go up, it's going to go down. Just got to know when to go in and got to know when to come out.
Yeah. Luckily, a lot of poker players are in the industry because they've been numbed to the swings of tournaments and cash games, so they can handle it much better than normal 9 to 5 people that are like, I lost 20% of my net cryptocurrency today. I'm out. And they just sell it all when it's low, buy it again when it's high, and repeat that process.
Poker players, this is such a poker player thing to invest in. I mean, they're so used to swings. Exactly. Well, that's why actually a lot of poker players, actually I wouldn't say a lot of poker players, but there are a good amount of poker players that play around the stock market. Still, I don't know why, because it's pumped up by a lot of, propped up a lot, very much propped up. So I wouldn't recommend investing, but what do I know? I'm not a financial advisor, nor am I a stock exchange person. So, but I've warned friends and they've lost a lot of money. I would really be careful in the stock market. It's really propped up.
Yeah, it's tough to beat with all the sharks and shady stuff going on, and the robots. Yeah. The robots have such an edge.
There's a lot of inside trading. Like there's a ton, and all of a sudden, these companies know when to get out and make tons and tons of money. So I would be really careful with it. But there are also friends that do quite well, and so they know they do. The thing is, if in anything, if you do enough research, you'll find out good things about you'll find the truth, hopefully, of certain stocks. I'm just personally, I don't play around with it. I don't have that much extra money right now to invest in. Hopefully, maybe a little bit, but be careful with the stock. But I would say if you really want to follow a really good guy who talks about the financial market and talks about the Federal Reserve and the interest rates and follows very closely everything to do with finance and everything to do with Wall Street and everything to do with, again, the Federal Reserve, I would really suggest you guys check out peterschiff.com. Actually, his website is Schiff Radio, SCHIFF radio.com. Peter Schiff is a well-known economist who predicted the 2008 bubble and 2008 crash. Yeah, he was talking about it for years. Do you know who he is?
He was just on the Joe Rogan Experience talking about this.
Yes, he was just on Joe Rogan. But so back in the day, back in 2005, 2006, 2007, he was on TV talking about the imminent crash. And he was on CNN. I remember watching him on CNN, and people, they were laughing at him because like, oh, it's never going to happen. And people were laughing at him when he was talking about the imminent crash. He's like, I don't know if it's going to be this year, next year, or the year after, but trust me, be really careful. I would actually short, I would short certain stocks. And everyone's like, oh, you're crazy. And guess what happened? It crashed. And then he was back on TV, and actually they stopped putting him on TV. And now they won't even have him on live. But now when he's on TV, he's saying it again. He's saying, listen, guys, we're about to have an even bigger bubble, and it's going to be much worse than before. And he talks about all this stuff. And long story short, guess what CNN is doing again? They're laughing at him. History repeats itself. And so anyway, he talks every few days. He has a podcast and talks about the American stock market. He talks about international stock market. He talks about gold and silver. He talks about the FDA. A lot of things that I had no idea about. Now I know way more, thankfully, with him. So he's a really good show if you're trying to invest and you're trying to hear what's going on with interest rates and all that. Check him out, shiftradio.com. He's a cool dude.
Yeah,
he knows stuff.
He has a gold company also, is that correct?
Yes,
he has a gold exchange of some sort.
Yes. What is it called?
Shift Gold or something.
Yeah. He just started Shift Gold. He had what's the name of it? Whatever, it doesn't matter. But he does have a gold company, yeah. And he basically has an investment company too. Hello, who's that peeked in?
Oh, that's my roommate.
Hello, roommate. He has different companies, and he does really well. And you have to watch some of his videos on YouTube too. His father is quite famous. His father, which recently passed away sadly last year, Irwin Schiff. Irwin Schiff was one of the only political prisoners we had in this country. And it's crazy to think we had a political prisoner, an American political prisoner. His book was banned in America. And you can just imagine what his book was probably about. His book was talking about the federal mafia, like how the government is like the mafia, and how income tax is unconstitutional. And that's why you'll always hear people talk about. You'll always hear people talk about in the news, like Janet Yellen, who's the head of the Federal Reserve. She'll always say voluntary tax, because if people would know that it's actually really a voluntary tax, even though I still pay my taxes, I don't mess around with that. I'm not trying to go to jail. But, he had a book where he explained it, and he goes through all the laws, and he has so many videos on YouTube. I know there are people that I've noticed on, Facebook, on YouTube that follow him and, take their chances. I don't really want to go to jail, but I see what he's saying. And if you'll notice, a lot of politicians say voluntary tax because it's unconstitutional, the income tax.
Yeah, I wish there wasn't tax either, but just like you, I don't want to go to jail, so they get their
I'm not
fair
messing
share.
around with it. But
As far as
I wanted to go higher, so I support Trump in cutting our taxes, 100%. But if you have a socialist candidate like Bernie Sanders in there, we are taxes. It's funny, poker players, a lot of them are like socialist and like openly for Bernie Sanders. I shouldn't say, but a good amount, maybe not all, but a good amount, pushing for socialism. Do you understand your taxes would go to 60, 70%? Do you guys know that? And a lot of it would get eaten up in the system. They get wasted all the time. I mean, my ex-boyfriend's mom used to work with many different government agencies, and millions would be wasted all the time. Just this one little group that would give out vaccines in New York and New Jersey. Millions of dollars went to waste, literally. She'd say we would have to write it off, and they wasted it. Again, there's so much waste in government when you oversee such a huge country where states are the best. And that's why one thing I agree with Trump is that he's saying government is going to back off. The Fed is going to back off a lot of issues. He's going to leave it to the states. Leave it to the states. The states should be making decisions in their state. Not
so
the government.
You're not a fan of universal basic income?
Yep, I'm not a fan. See, I mean, on the one hand, if you hear it and you hear, oh, this universal, income, it's great. Yeah, it sounds amazing. But here's the thing: when you're going to, first of all, force companies to give a certain amount of money, first of all, that's you're putting pressure on these private companies, which, number one, if you don't Well, actually, well, that's also with doctors, where doctors are forced to give care for a certain amount of money. That's called indentured servitude. When you're forcing someone to give care for X amount of money and you're not going to give any higher, that's the issue with Obamacare. It's just a complete mess. Again, anytime a government gets involved, it goes to crap. I am not a fan of universal minimum wage because, again, you're forcing companies to now pay higher, pay universally to everyone. I mean, and the problem with that is that there's a lot of issues with it. Number one, let's say someone is learning and this is the first year and they don't have enough skill set. You need to give them some time to really learn the skills, and then they can go get higher pay every year with the experience that they have. So in that way, it's non-beneficial for the owner of the company. Where you're forced to pay everyone $15, but they have no experience, or maybe someone isn't a good worker, and you're trying to teach them how to work harder. Or number two, a lot of times when companies are now supposed to pay higher amount, I was supposed to pay $15 an hour. Now you have to understand that they're going to be laying off a lot of jobs. So when a company is told now, instead of paying $10, $12 an hour, now they're being forced to pay $15 an hour. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to cut jobs. They're going to cut jobs to make sure that they're still making the residual income that they're making from the company. So people don't think about that perspective. And so you're going to have people get paid higher jobs. I agree that there's inflation in this country. I agree that the rent is going up, income isn't going up. I know it's a massive issue. But again, if the government would get out of our hair and stop with the regulations, we would have more jobs in this country. We would have more growth in this country. We'd have a better economy. We'd have more jobs. And having so much regulation, the government in every single nick and cranny, and now you're telling companies to force them to pay $15 an hour, guess what's going to happen? People are going to lose jobs. They're going to get fired. So there's always something that comes with comes with the regulation, comes with the law. And again, private companies should make their own decisions. I mean, and you have, as a citizen, you can make your own decisions if you want to work here, or you want to work there. And again, if there's I'm against the government getting involved in the private enterprise system, I should say. So, yeah.
There's no free lunch, and their idea of this utopian society where no one has to work just really won't work out.
Yeah, I mean, the utopian society, there's never going to be a utopian society, but I think the best way to get close to that is capitalism. Capitalism is how you have more prosperity in this country. Limited government, which is, again, I'm a libertarian, conservative. I'm like a mishmash of different things, because there's things I agree with in the conservatism stuff, things I don't, things I agree with in libertarian stuff, things I don't. But I would say I'm like central right. I'm like right center, basically, is how I would, I guess, place myself. But yeah, I mean, limited government, having government have less regulations and let the private enterprise, the capitalism function. This is how we build jobs. This is how we build prosperity. And anytime government gets involved with anything, it always goes to crap for some reason.
Funny how that works.
Funny how that works. And more bureaucracy. So, Bernie Sanders, Hillary, they can't wait to have more and more programs, more regulation, because their government expands. They love having all the power, all the money. I mean, it's no longer a time where we, the people, make a decision. It's even Republicans too. Like I'm not Democrat nor am I Republican. I am bipartisan. I'm like third party. I would say more Tea Party. Like I'm more, because Tea Party is libertarian conservative and they believe in limited government. So I'm not a Republican or Democrat. I'm Tea Party, but I should say I thought I was a Republican I was a Democrat a long time, but and I thought I was a Republican for a little bit, but realized that that's a sham too. The Republican Democrat thing, it's one party in this country. They're all lying. They're all liars. All liars. A lot of Republicans said that they would repeal Obamacare. They were going to do it. They were waiting for the president to come in to be Republican. BS, because it's still not repealed. So, yep, that's why I'm Tea Party, because they're all liars. All politicians are liars, except Rand Paul, which I love. He's libertarian.
Yeah,
and a Republican.
Capitalism works. Work hard, play hard.
Exactly. The harder and yeah, again, the more regulations you have, more people are telling you what to do in this country. When you have government telling you what to do with your own company, that is not freedom. That is not freedom. That is called, in a sense, being a slave, being told what to do, how to do it. If you don't do it, you get arrested. If you don't do it, you're going to get sued. If you don't do it, you're going to lose your job. If you don't do it, we're going to come after you with the IRS. that is, you do not have freedom when government gets bigger. That's the way it works. This is the reason why the founding fathers want to have a limited government. And that is why people confuse me with being a nationalist. I'm a patriot, and I love the Constitution, and love this country, and I want limited government. Let's go back to that, but it's not gonna happen, unfortunately. Yeah, sure. It's getting bigger and bigger.
Shout out to the DOJ and Black Friday, one of the worst days in poker history. Thanks, government.
Shout out to that. Thank you, government. People want more regulation. There you go.
Yeah.
How'd that work out for you guys? Had
ruined.
to move to Canada, right? Had to move to Mexico. Had to move to Switzerland. Had to move all over the place. Yeah, government is amazing.
Yeah, that was fun explaining to people in Vancouver what I'm doing there. I'm just here to play poker. I'm like, what? What do you mean? What's wrong with the United States, the land of the free? Oh, no, not free to play poker online. That's a horrible thing.
Well, this is why I have the American flag behind me.
I noticed you're proud to be an American. That's a great thing.
Yeah, I mean, I can have my Russian flag up, but I'm in America, and I'm a citizen of this country, and I will fight for it all the time. I have family that served, and just it's important to talk about what you believe in and fight for what you believe in. And I know the poker community doesn't like it. I mean, I have a lot of liberal followers and liberal fans from Survivor. I love them. A lot of them are very young, 16, 17. But I got to tell you, though, what I've noticed is that Generation Z is very much full of conservatives and very much full of limited government libertarians, which is really cool to see, because I have a lot of fans who message me privately. I've had a lot of Survivor people tell me in whisper in my ear, hey, listen, I also support Trump. I also support, an outsider. I mean, that was the biggest reason why I voted for Trump, was because I'm sick and tired of these lying politicians. And I wanted someone who's, number one, not PC. He says it like it is, whether you like it or not. He says what's on his mind, even though, again, there's things I disagree with, and talking about girls and their times of the month. I think that's a little overboard and whatever. I disagree with that. I think it's crazy, but not crazy. I think it's degrading, but hey, I would rather have a patriot in there who might bite his tongue a few times than have someone who is in the system saying a lot of BS and just getting elected and doing the same old crap. So that's the reason why I voted for him. He was an outsider. So that's,
We don't need more corporate shills. We need
corporate shills. Yeah. Mrs. Hillary Clinton. What happened? Hillary Rodham Clinton is what happened. No, thank you.
You can't say anything bad about her. You might end up dead.
I know I'm not going there. I speak about her all the time. I always say I have a sound mind. I am never going to commit suicide. So if I go missing after having my show where I talk about her, talk about different things, that I didn't commit suicide. I didn't know. I'm good. I would never do that. Ever, ever, ever.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anna, can you recommend 2 other poker pros or celebrities that I could have on the podcast in the future?
Poker pros, poker celebrities. I would recommend James Woods. I mean, he's a buddy of mine. But he doesn't do shows. But maybe he would do a poker one. You never know. Maybe reach out to him. You never know. But he doesn't do any political stuff because he already has a hard time getting jobs, even though he's the man and one of the best actors in Hollywood. So poker pros I would recommend. Ebony Kenny's cool. She's always great to have on. I don't know if you reached out to her. Yeah, I can actually. Okay, you talked.
Yeah, we had a podcast, and I did a live final table commentary for the Bar Poker Open at Golden Nugget this summer. It was real fun.
Good, yeah. You know what I would do? I'd maybe have some local people. Well, not local people. I mean, I'm in Jersey, New York area, so you can get some people from here, let me think. Joe McKeon. You can have my friend Gio. Who's Precious PLO. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna have to think about it and get back to you.
Okay. Yeah, shoot me a message. I can do it on the PokerTube channel or on the Jeff Boski YouTube channel. PokerTube would want more poker-related stuff. Jeff Boski, there's no limits. I can put whoever on,
Awesome.
As controversial as possible.
Beautiful. Well, I wish you the best of luck with your show.
Well, thank you. If you're tuning in, to make sure to watch the Anna Khait Show, Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. She's going to have a lot of interesting guests on in the future. Look out for her possibly being on a Netflix special, possibly a book. Check her out on Twitter. She's Anna Khait on Twitter and Anna Khait on Facebook. Give her a like, give her a follow. And
send me some comments if you guys want to talk about certain stuff or questions, or I'm very active on Twitter, so I always answer people.
Absolutely. She's not going to hold back the truth. She's very open-minded. Wonderful woman to talk to. Be sure to contact her. And I want to thank you on behalf of PokerTube for joining the podcast today. You've been an excellent guest. We'll send you the link for this when it goes live on the PokerTube channel. And I wanted to thank all the people in the chat for joining in. And make sure you hit the subscribe button on the PokerTube YouTube channel to get alerted of all the live videos I have coming up in the future. I have quite a few pros lined up and controversial figures, so stay tuned for that.
Good. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you adopt. Adopt, adopt, adopt. Do not breed.
Save a dog, save your life, save their life. It's a friend for life. You can't go wrong with adopting a dog from a shelter or organization.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't breed. Adopt. Thanks, Jeff. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on. That was fun.
Thanks again, Anna. We're going to wrap it up, and I'll chat with you a bit off stream.
Beautiful. Bye.
And we are out.